This is the simple 10 steps for everybody looking for the education on how to buy their first home. I know there's lots of questions. How much money do you need to make? What about your down payment and your credit score or your loan or a great interest rate or finding the right realtor or lender? And I know a lot of people are thinking, should I buy now or should I wait? And then the big question from everybody, when should you start all this research and what the hell do you even do to get started? The answer to that question and all the rest, they're answered here in the #1 trusted first-time home buyer system in the United States, broken down into 10 steps. Let's do it.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time home buyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time home buyers.
What's up, my How to Buy a Homies? Yep, as a listener to this show, you've now just become a homie. I'm your host, David Sidoni, and since 2019, I've been laying out everything first-time homebuyers need to know to get educated and gain confidence when they're preparing to buy their first home. The homies get clear, honest, and insightful guidance to help them become first-time homebuyers without regrets. After 400 episodes and 6 years of this, I've covered everything, and it's all free. Yeah, everything and anything that a first-time homebuyer needs to know is right here already in the podcast library. And anytime you want to do deep dives on all things first-time homebuyer, you can find all the topics in the episode guide. That's going to be in the show notes, and you can find exactly what you need, no matter where you are on your home buying journey. But I know many of you are brand new to us today, and this is the right place to start. The #1 trusted first-time homebuyer system in the United States, and I break it down into 10 steps. If you're a regular, there's great refreshers here, including some brand new current market updates for 2025 and 2026. So the 10 steps work like this. They're going to start in the next episode, 401. This episode today, it's your introduction to the entire first-time homebuyer process. And by the end of this, I'm going to give you 3 action steps that you can start today. Yeah, progress immediately. And it takes you less than 30 minutes. And in these 10 steps, you're going to find answers to everything you're looking for. Where do you start if you don't have a clue? When should you even start your personal planning? How much money do you need to figure out? How do you figure out the entire loan process, including getting the best interest rate, the credit score requirements, loan approvals, and choosing the right lending team for you? And of course, how much down payment do you need? What about down payment assistance programs and grants? And we'll get deep into the credit scores, explaining all the tips and tricks to improve your score with real insider knowledge. We'll get a handle on your debt, including those horrible student loan debts. I know a lot of you are wondering, is that really holding you back? The answer might surprise you. We'll go over savings requirements and tips on how to get there. When should you reach out to your professional team to help guide you and how to best choose that team? And once you finish with the 10 steps, once you finish with those 10 steps that are the #1 trusted and proven first-time homebuyer program in the United States, then you can get detailed information from the episode guide. That's where you can find all the tips and tricks and tools and techniques from other episodes that go over subjects like this. How do you choose between buying a home or a condo or a townhome? Or what about between a new home versus a regular resale home? We go over home warranties, home inspections, insurance, people buying together or people buying on their own without their partner, the pros and cons of online lenders and realtors versus local professionals. There's episodes about timing the market, researching your neighborhoods, buying if you're out of town, out of state, or even out of country, episodes on bidding wars, the housing bubble, the potential crash, down payment tricks, timing your lease with your purchase, house hacking, understanding real estate terminology, including all those crazy abbreviations. You got the VA, the FHA, the USDA, the DTI, the 401k, the GDP, the FICO, the HELOC, and we have over 100 interviews with real people just like you. So you can hear for reals how these 10 steps turn renters into homeowners. And you can hear that from real life stories straight from the people who did it themselves. This is 6 years of content for you. Right now, the podcast has over 2 million downloads, and we've helped tens of thousands of buyers just like you find their clarity and their confidence. I've been a realtor educating and serving first-time homebuyers since 2006. And in 2019, after I saw first-time homebuyers getting screwed over by the entire real estate industry, I quit my brokerage. And I decided to do everything I could to educate and empower the disrespected and, frankly, completely ignored first-time homebuyers. See, you might not know this, but within the real estate industry, first-time homebuyers, they're looked at as the bottom of the barrel. They are brutally disrespected and considered a waste of time and a low-profit endeavor for all the experienced realtors. So what happens is they get passed off to the newbie agents who are completely unskilled and have the lowest level of training for their job in the known universe. That's what's happening out there. And I'm sure that if the public actually knew how unqualified most real estate agents are, there would be a riot at the National Association of Realtors. The bar to get a license, the test you have to take, it's so low. In fact, in 2024, 71% of licensed realtors didn't sell one home. And for decades, the entire industry has known that 87% of people who get their real estate license quit in less than 5 years. So yes, educating you is a big part of what this podcast does. And the reason is because, oh my goodness, do first-time homebuyers need protection? Because realtors are taught that you actually learn your job when you're working with first-time homebuyers. And then you move on to concentrating solely on sellers. And then guess what? That's when you hire some other newbie agents to handle all the first-time homebuyers. I mean, are you kidding? So it's the biggest financial transaction of your life, but that's that agent's on-the-job training. Yeah, they're figuring out how to do this, and it's your money and your life on the line. First-time homebuyers get reprehensibly low, lousy, crappy levels of service. I figured that out, and I was straight up appalled and disgusted with the system that was created by big real estate. Now, I could go on for this for hours, but the bottom line is, they've created a numbers game factory business model focused on greed and profits. Instead of serving you with the quality expertise that you deserve, but you have a choice, and that's the education that I provide right here to get you the insider information so you can win a game that is totally rigged against you. And if you've already started doing research at other places, you might have noticed it kind of sucks. Now, that's not me bragging. It's just simple facts. If no decent professional within the real estate industry is actually focusing on you, the first-time homebuyer, well, then, of course, the quality of educational information that you find, it's going to suck. In fact, if you search hard, most of what you find, they're actually teasers and snippets of first-time homebuyer information, masquerading as education, but the real goal is to lure you in and capture you for a quick sale to boost their bottom line. So after years in the industry, I just could not take it anymore. I mean, nobody experienced in the process is focusing on you, who ironically are the people who need the most education and guidance. And unfortunately, what you're getting is unclear or just straight up wrong. So instead of bitching about all this injustice, I decided I would jump in and change the game by leading with education and empathy and understanding for what's going on with people who want to buy a home in this market. So I've taken all that dense and complex information and I've made it more palatable, presenting it to you in plain English. There's no BS here. This is just complete, clear, and concise, actual and usable information with no sugarcoating. And don't be fooled by my occasional cringy dad vibes. Some of the Gen Z homies have actually started calling me Unc, and I love that. Yeah, you're getting the straight stuff, and it might come with a little bit of goofiness from me, but you're also getting the deep and detailed information that you seriously just can't find everywhere else. Because behind the plain talk, there is plenty of highly researched, in-depth analysis here. I'm a self-proclaimed real estate nerd with nothing to do but research and find the best education for you. And in the back library of 400 episodes, you're going to find a whole bunch of deep analytics, stats, numbers, and formulas that you can use. Yeah, with the occasional dad joke thrown in. This podcast, it can be like an intense AP calculus exam, but it's printed on rainbow construction paper to distract you. So anybody can find what they need to get a leg up here, to gain self-assurance. Even if you're brand new, just a curious beginner, or if you're an advanced buyer, a deep dive researcher who's ready to start writing offers, everything's in here. And as you go through the 10 steps, you're going to notice something else that's very different and unique to what we do at How to Buy a Home. Something extremely important, and it's where big real estate has totally dropped the ball and given you nothing. It's giving first-time home buyers clear, simple steps in the planning process. I'm talking about what to do when you're months away from getting serious about buying your first home. I mean, what do you do if you're a year or two out? Is there anything you can do? And what can you do today to set yourself up for success? The answer is plenty. And no, the answer is not just save up money and call a realtor 3 months before your lease is up, even though nobody in real estate has bothered to tell you that. In these 10 steps, you'll learn about what we call the Last Lease Ever program. It's got tips and steps that you can take right after you sign your next 12-month lease. And no, that's going to be the last one you ever sign. You'll get all the guidance for the pre-planning, what big real estate is totally ignored, because all they focus on is buyers that are ready to buy this weekend. And sure, all that information, that's definitely here in the podcast library, so you can do far better than the average buyer when you're ready to start writing offers. But here, we're also filling in that gaping hole left by the greedy real estate industry that has completely ignored you and ignored, hey, there are people out there who want to know what they can do months and months before they're ready to start looking and putting offers on homes. And the cool thing is, when you get involved in your pre-planning, you're going to discover options that you may not even know exist. And the steps aren't huge, but the great thing is, even the small steps done over time, they create gigantic positive effects that will make options for you, things that you never thought were possible. And I guarantee you that many of you are going to be surprised by the results and probably much closer than you think. Here's the insider knowledge that can be a game changer for you. Each buyer's planning and strategy is entirely and wholly unique. Every single one of you will have a different path because the best strategy is specifically tailored for you, built with all of your own personal and financial variables. And it's built by first-time homebuyer experts who know that there are literally thousands of ways to not only help you score the best deal when you're ready to buy, but people who are also dedicated first-time homebuyer professionals who are going to specialize in setting you up in the planning so you can eventually be the best buyer you can be whenever that's right for you. And you could spend hours going down the rabbit hole on Google or subreddits to try to find a tested roadmap that you should follow. But someone's generic one-size-fits-all advice doesn't have your best interest in mind. There are just way too many variables in your personal buying options. There is no catch-all, one-size-fits-all system. So after almost 2 decades of serving and coaching first-time homebuyers, let's start your journey today with my 2 biggest bonus tips of all time. These are the 2 ginormous mistakes that I've seen firsthand cause massive disappointment and regret for aspiring first-time homebuyers. Number 1, thinking that you can Google your way to your specific and personal answers and options that can be available for you, assuming that it works similarly for everybody. And number 2, not starting the planning with a professional guide sooner. That's it, those 2. After 20 years, the reason I know that is because the one thing that I've heard after buyers finally get their keys in their hands, they turn around and they go, damn, if I knew then what I know now after getting all the education and going through all this, I could have done this way sooner and saved tons of money that I wasted on rent. And in 2025, it pains me to report that these 2 big mistakes are killing the dreams of first-time homebuyers. The average age of first-time homebuyers over the last 10 years, it's been 32 years old. Until last year in 2024, when it jumped to 38. And in 2025, it's freaking 41 years old. That is criminal. Most people think that, of course, that's because we've got rising prices and high interest rates. And yeah, it's tougher than it used to be, but it is still very, very possible. The reason people aren't jumping in right now, it's because, well, look, I coach first-time homebuyers 24/7, 365. I hear what renters out there are thinking. And what royally sucks is that the general fear and lack of clear, correct information on the possibilities, that has a much, much greater impact on people waiting years to buy their first home. Because the truth is, they just think that they can't. That is not true. We've seen plenty of people over the last 2 years buy homes. Some of them only bringing $4,000, $6,000, $8,000 to the table to buy a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home. And what sucks is that it's truly not the public's fault that the entire real estate system isn't giving you the right information. I've seen it. We help people do it all the time. And I know this. You can do this. Don't believe the misinformation. So here's what's really going on. In 2025, first-time homebuyers have got the correct information from a first-time homebuyer team specializing in them. They bought homes with mortgage rates half a point lower and sometimes 3/4 of a percentage point lower than the national average interest rate. And on top of that, the average down payment for first-time homebuyers last year, it was between 8 and 9%. And many of them used a 5%, a 3% down payment, or even a 0 down payment option. And the problem is, no one is sharing the simple education to help people find these solutions. It's happening. Millennials and Gen Zs are buying homes, despite what you might hear on the news and despite the greedy real estate industry doing everything they can to screw over entire generations, making them rent until they're 41 years old. But with the right guidance, we're seeing it happen. Using this system, people have bought homes at 35, 30, even 22 or 23 years old. Hell, we even have a couple 19-year-olds that we interviewed on this show who bought a home and never rented in their life. So that's what you're going to get here. Facts, education, and empowerment to make this happen for you. A revolution has begun. Don't stress, no sketchy sales pitches, no false promises, no call now and I can make your dreams come true. I do not play that. This is an unfiltered, truth-telling, educational step-by-step instruction manual. So let's get you started. I've got 3 simple things that all of you can do today before you even get to step 1. These 3 tips and action items, they actually come from steps 3, 4, and 5 in the 10 steps. And since you're all going to get to those in a few days, let's go ahead and get a head start. First up, a credit score tip. This one's easy. And I'm shocked that not a lot of people know about this. Go and download your free credit report at www.annualcreditreport.com. All one word, annualcreditreport.com. It's free. And as of today, they changed the rules. It used to be you could only do it a few times a year. You can now download this once a week for free. And please, please, for the love of everything that you find holy in your life, forget Credit Karma and all the apps. This is the one and truest way for you to check your credit. Not just looking at your score, but someplace you can find a real accurate report, because you're going to need that moving forward. The second tip, understanding your debt. Real easy. Organize all your monthly debts onto one sheet. You can put it in a spreadsheet, or you can go old school and just pull out a piece of paper. And then all you do is you add them up. These are the bills at the minimum that you have to pay every single month, including your rent. And then you put your monthly income on the same sheet. Now let's pray that the income number is larger than your bills. And eventually what we're going to do is we're going to take those 2 numbers and figure out what's called your debt to income ratio, also known in the real estate world as your DTI. More on that later. And the third thing, saving money to do this. Now, I understand saving money is hard, especially with the way things are going right now. So here's what you do. Set up a quick, automated savings account just for your home buying. Automated. And we're going to call that your down payment and closing cost account, even if you don't have a clue what either of those phrases mean. I don't care what it is. Open it with $25 and automate a weekly stipend to go in that account. Every single week, automate. Because remember, this isn't about going to look at homes this weekend. This is just about setting up habits and, most importantly, creating your plan so that you have options when you are ready to buy. There, that's it. That's all it takes to start. Should just be 20 or 30 minutes. You do that and you put yourself on the path and you have begun your journey. That's how the show works. You listen, you get the right advice, and the next thing you know, you're really doing this. Could be a month, could be a year, could be 2 years. Don't know. We'll find out when we get all your information. When you are on your journey and figuring out what you need to do to get to the next rung on the ladder. And we'll get into that on the next episode, step 1. And if you can't wait for the next episode, or you think you have a specific question that you want to ask right now, no worries. Go to howtobuyahome.com, hit the Ask David button, and you can ask me directly. I answer all of them. Yes, me, not a robot, not a team member, me. I answer them all. And if you are a crazy analytical research nerd and you want more data, well, all good. I am too. You've got 6 years of it here. Check the episode guide in the show notes, along with the 100 interviews in there. There's so much, tons, gobs and gobs of information. I've even got a How to Buy a Home YouTube channel as well, along with the How to Buy a Home podcast Instagram feed. And there it is. You're done. You did it. And it continues in the next episode. I have seen this tens of thousands of times, and the one thing that I know for sure, you can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyaHome.com to get started.